Every time I sit down to talk with men in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s, I hear the same quiet frustration in their voices. They'll say things like, "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore." Or, "I used to have more fire, more strength, more drive. What happened?" And I always lean in, give them that look, the kind that says, "I'm right here with you," and I tell them the truth. You haven't lost your spark. Your body just needs the right support to bring it back. Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Thompson, and after more than 35 years working with aging men who've built families, careers, and whole lives, I've learned something important. Growing older isn't the same as growing weaker, not if you know how to take care of the engine inside you. Today I want to share something that has changed the lives of so many of my patients. Something simple, natural science-backed, and honestly, overlooked by most men. And I promise you this isn't another lecture. Think of it as you and I sitting together over a cup of coffee, having a real conversation about your health, your strength, and your future. Before we get into the good stuff, I want to ask you for one small thing. If you're a man over 50 who cares about staying strong, staying sharp, and staying in control of your health, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I make these videos because I genuinely care about you, because I've seen too many men suffer quietly thinking age is a life sentence. But it's not. You just need the right knowledge, the right habits, and sometimes the right voice reminding you that you're worth taking care of. And while you're here, leave a comment and tell me, what's the biggest change you've noticed in your energy or strength over the last few years? I read every single comment myself because your stories matter, and they help me make videos that actually reach the heart of what you're experiencing. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few months ago, a patient of mine, George, 68 years old, walked into my office. He's a grandfather, a retired engineer, strong-minded but soft-spoken. He told me, "Doc, I'm slowing down. This isn't me." We made one simple change. One. And within weeks he started waking up with more energy, feeling more confident, even getting back that spark with his wife that he thought was gone for good. What changed? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because the answer wasn't magic, it wasn't medication, and it wasn't some grueling gym routine. It was something far more fundamental, and something every man watching this video can start using today. So, take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's walk through this together. Your best years aren't behind you, my friend. They're still within reach. As a doctor who spent nearly 4 decades working with men over 50, I've come to appreciate something that younger doctors often overlook. The body doesn't simply break down with age. What actually happens is that the body becomes less forgiving when we ignore the small things. The micronutrients, the hormones, the sleep, the stress, the tiny daily habits that quietly shape how we age. And today I want to talk to you about something most men, even the smart ones, completely underestimate: micronutrients, and how they decide whether your testosterone rises, falls, or stagnates. Now listen. I know the word micronutrient sounds like something out of a college biology textbook, but stay with me. This might be the single most important explanation you hear this year about your health as a man. Because testosterone isn't just a male hormone, it's your life force. It affects your energy, your confidence, your muscle, your ability to burn fat, your mood, your sleep, your drive, your sexual vitality, even the way you stand and walk. Men don't decline simply because of age. They decline because testosterone declines. And testosterone doesn't just drop out of nowhere. It drops because the body doesn't have what it needs to produce it. Let me break this down like I would if you were sitting in my office. Why most men over 50 lose testosterone and don't know why. Picture your body like a factory, a sophisticated, beautifully designed factory that wants to produce strong, steady hormones. But in order to do that, it needs raw materials, vitamins, minerals, fats, and cholesterol. Beginning in your late 40s and accelerating after 55, the body becomes much less efficient at absorbing these materials. So, even if you think you're eating enough, you might not actually be getting what your testosterone-producing cells need. Your testosterone isn't low because you're old. It's low because the factory is running out of supplies. Let me share a simple example. A few years ago, I had a patient named Walter, 72 years old, widowed, a kind soul, but he carried a tiredness in his eyes that worried me. He told me, "Doc, I don't understand. I eat well, I'm active, I still walk 3 miles a day. So why do I feel like my battery won't hold a charge anymore?" I asked him one question. "What exactly are you eating?" When we went through it, I realized he was missing nearly every nutrient that supports testosterone. Not deliberately, he was eating what he'd eaten all his life. The problem was that what worked at 25 doesn't work at 65. So I shifted his diet using a strategy I'll share with you soon, something I call microdosing nutrients, just like the video talks about. And within a few weeks, Walter walked into my clinic with a different posture and a different spark in his voice. "Doc," he said, "I feel like I got 15 years back. Not 15 years younger. 15 years back as in reclaimed. That's the power of giving your body the raw materials it's been begging for. The foundation: cholesterol and healthy fats. Let's start with something most men get wrong. The world spent decades telling us fat is bad, that cholesterol is dangerous, that we should avoid eggs, butter, red meat, the very foods that build testosterone. But here's the truth, and this is science, not opinion. Testosterone, SAM, is made from cholesterol. Every single molecule of it. If your diet is too low in healthy fats, especially saturated and monounsaturated fats, your testosterone factory has nothing to build with. Imagine trying to build a house without wood. That's exactly what most men are doing to their hormones. I can't tell you how many older men I've seen turn things around simply by returning to whole natural sources of fat, pasture-raised eggs, olive oil, avocado, grass-fed beef, raw nuts, salmon. Not processed junk, real food. Your body knows what to do with real food. And that brings me to a simple but powerful habit I teach nearly all my patients. Eggs, nature's multivitamin for men. There's a reason the man in the video called eggs a multivitamin, because that's exactly what they are. An egg contains almost every essential vitamin you need to produce testosterone plus perfect fats, high-quality protein and cholesterol. Some men do 4 eggs a day, some do 6. I've had a few do 10. The ones who worry about cholesterol, especially those who grew up in the 70s and 80s fearing fat, are often surprised when their blood work improves. Now, I'm not saying go eat 15 eggs tomorrow if you have a cholesterol disorder. I'm saying whole eggs are not the villain. For many men, they're a missing link. One of my patients, Gary, age 6, used to be terrified of eggs. His previous doctor warned him off them for 20 years. When he switched to a more balanced approach, 2 eggs each morning with a side of vegetables, he told me, "Doc, I don't fall asleep after breakfast anymore. I feel alive." That's the power of feeding the body what it was designed to receive. Selenium and Brazil nuts, the Leydig cell protector. Here's something most older men have never heard. Your testosterone is produced in cells called Leydig cells. As you age, these cells become fragile. They oxidize. They get damaged. They slow down. But selenium, a trace mineral most men don't get enough of, protects these cells like armor. And Brazil nuts are nature's richest source of selenium. Just 1 or 2 nuts a day can give you all the selenium you need. I've seen men who couldn't sleep well, men with low libido, men with chronic fatigue, and after adding just this one small habit, things began to shift. Not magically, not instantly, but reliably. It's nourishment, not medication. Your body recognizes it. Liver, the forgotten superfood. Now, let me talk about something that sounds strange to modern ears: liver. When I was a kid in the 60s, liver was common. Moms cooked it for strength, for energy, for the blood. Somewhere along the way, we became squeamish and replaced it with processed meat and supplements. But liver, especially beef or chicken liver, is the most nutrient-dense food on Earth. It's loaded with vitamin A, B-complex vitamins, iron, zinc, copper, cholesterol, protein, all essential for hormone production. Most men don't want to eat a full plate of liver. Fair enough. That's why microdosing makes sense. Just 30-50 grams a day, a few bites gives you a powerful dose of testosterone and building nutrients. I once had a patient, Bernard, who was skeptical. "Doc, liver, really?" he laughed. I told him, "Try it for 2 weeks, just 2. At his next appointment, he said, "I hate how much I love this. I feel incredible." Sometimes the old ways really are the best ways. Magnesium, the mineral men over 60 can't afford to ignore. Magnesium is responsible for more than 300 biochemical reactions in your body, including hormone synthesis, muscle function, sleep quality, and nerve health. And here's the kicker. Around 70% of 50 kundi jelas buar sim mani naming bawa overham ifa to dafish sama Inembin dinambo na Why? Because magnesium is depleted from modern soil, and because stress, something nearly all older men carry, burns through magnesium like fire through paper. Magnesium glycinate is the form I recommend most. It supports sleep, calms the nervous system, and helps the testes produce testosterone. I've seen countless men go from restless, anxious, and wired to calm, steady, and strong simply by restoring magnesium levels. It's not a hack, it's biology. Boron, small mineral, big impact on free testosterone. Boron isn't a mineral most people talk about, but studies show it helps reduce SHBG, the protein that binds your testosterone and prevents it from being used. Think of SHBG like a jail cell. Your testosterone might be there, but it's locked away. Boron helps free it. 5-10 milligrams a day. Simple, effective, real. Some men call it the confidence mineral. I just call it useful. Vitamin D3, the hormone men forget they need. Most older men are deficient in vitamin D3, especially those who work indoors, live far from the equator, or avoid the sun. And vitamin D isn't just a vitamin, it's a hormone. Low vitamin D equals low testosterone, period. I once had a patient whose testosterone jumped nearly 200 points over 3 months simply from correcting his vitamin D deficiency. It's one of the easiest wins you can give your body. The role of stress and cortisol, the testosterone killer. There's another part of this story, and it's a deeply human one. Stress. Chronic stress, grief, loneliness, financial worry, retirement, anxiety. These create elevated cortisol. And elevated cortisol tells your body, stop producing testosterone. We're in survival mode. This is why I always tell older men, sleep is medicine, breathing is medicine, quiet moments are medicine. Walking outdoors is medicine, laughter is medicine, connection is medicine. You can eat perfectly, exercise, consistently microdose nutrients daily, but if your stress is sky high, your testosterone will stay low. One of the most powerful things you can do as an older man is learn to exhale. And I mean that literally. Slow breathing lowers cortisol. Lower cortisol frees testosterone. It's simple, but it changes lives. Microdosing. Why? Small daily habits work better than big occasional ones. Now, let's talk about the strategy that ties all of this together. Microdosing, giving your body small amounts of essential nutrients every single day. Why does this work so well? Because the male body thrives on consistency, not extreme diets, not huge supplement stacks, not unrealistic routines. Small, reliable inputs repeated daily rebuild the foundation of your hormones. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't flood it once a month. You give it a little water every day. Micro-dosing foods like liver, Brazil nuts, eggs, olive oil, omega-3s, selenium, magnesium, boron. It keeps your hormone factory fully supplied all day, every day. It's simple, it's natural, and it works. Your body can still be strong if you give it what it needs. The biggest message I want you to take from all this is simple. You are not too old to feel strong again. You are not too old to feel like a man again. And you are not too old to reclaim your vitality. I've seen men in their 70s build muscle, men in their 80s regain libido, men in their 60s lose belly fat they thought was permanent. Men who believed they were just getting old discover they were simply undernourished. Your body is capable of more than you think. It just needs the right ingredients given consistently. The men who succeed are not the ones who overhaul their lives overnight. They are the ones who make small, powerful changes and stick to them. 1 Brazil nut, a few bites of liver, 4 eggs, a tablespoon of olive oil, a magnesium supplement, a walk outside, a deep breath before bed. Tiny habits, massive impact. And most importantly, hope. Men do better when they believe change is possible. Your body listens to belief. Your mind listens to hope. Your hormones respond to care. Let's keep going, my friend. Your best chapters are still being written. Before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with something deeper than facts, yet nutrients or hormones. I want to leave you with a message I've carried through thousands of conversations with men, just like you, men who've lived through storms, built families, sacrificed, loved, lost, and kept going, even when it wasn't easy. Aging is not a punishment. It's not a slow fading away. It's not the universe taking something from you. Aging is a transition, a shifting of priorities, a call to take better care of the body that has carried you through so much. When I look at a man in his 50s, 60s, or 70s, I don't see decline. I see potential. I see experience. I see a lifetime of strength that can still grow if you give it a chance. You're not meant to spend these years tired, sluggish, or disconnected from the spark that once made you feel alive. You're meant to move through them with clarity, dignity, and power. Yes, power. Because masculine vitality doesn't disappear with age. It simply needs to be fed. And the truth is, your body is always listening. Even now, even if you feel worn down, even if you feel like the best days are behind you. Give it the right signals, the right nutrients, the right habits, and it will respond. Maybe slowly at first, maybe subtly, but it will respond. I've seen men in their 80s rebuild energy. I've seen men after heart surgery regain muscle and joy. I've seen men who thought they were done, learn to smile, again really smile. And every time I'm reminded of something simple, hope is a form of medicine. You're not too old, you're not too late, and you're not beyond repair. Your body wants to help you. Your job is to meet it halfway. So, if today's conversation gave you clarity, comfort, or even a small spark of inspiration, I want you to do two things for me. 1. Leave a comment below. Tell me where you are in your journey. Tell me what you're struggling with or what you're working toward. Your comment might encourage another man who needs it more than you realize. 2. Subscribe to the channel. Not because it helps me, but because it helps you. Every week I share guidance designed specifically for men in your stage of life. Men who want strength without ego, vitality without gimmicks, and health without fear. We're building something here, a community of older men who refuse to give up on themselves. If no one has told you this lately, let me be the one. You're worth the effort, you're worth the time, and your life still has chapters waiting to be lived with strength, purpose, and pride. I'll see you in the next video, my friend. Take care of yourself because you deserve to feel alive.